Hi, I'm Julie Jordan Scott, and I'm so glad you are here. We are talking today about untalkaboutables. You know, those things that you're just not supposed to talk about, and so they get stuffed deep inside and create a kind of block or a barrier to a lot of what is good and right and just wonderful. So I'm doing a series on this because I found that people get incredibly blocked by not talking about or not speaking about or not writing about or not creating from those topics that for whatever reason they have been told they're not supposed to talk about them. So I thought we would take just a second to talk about what the genesis of Untalkaboutables is. Now, for all of us, this may be different, maybe different topics, different reasons, different scenarios that made the Untalkaboutables become just that. Do you have a question? Do you have Untalkaboutables in your life? Are there topics that you just won't approach or just won't speak about? If you do, I would love if you would be bold and brave enough in the comments, and you could just say, yes, I do have Untalkaboutables, or no, I don't. And if you have something more to say, I'd love for you to say it too. So I think for me, with Untalkaboutables, I learned about them from early childhood. My family would say, shh, 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 impolite, don't say that. We had a lot of skeletons in the closet when I was a kid, or a lot of things we just didn't bring up. Like my brother, my younger brother, he's 11 months younger than me, he has Down syndrome. He's died about 10 years ago, but he had Down syndrome. And we were not allowed to talk about the fact that he was different than the rest of us. And so what happened was, other people knew, of course, that he was different than the rest of us. And I developed an enormous fear of being abandoned because people who found nothing wrong with mentioning that he had Down syndrome and was different, they would talk about things like a great institution that they heard about, and had my mom thought about, putting him in one of those places. Now, when you don't talk about this stuff, and the sister who's only 13 months older begins to think, oh my goodness, are they sending John away? Does that mean that I'm going to be sent away next? I better be really careful and take care of him so that he won't cause any trouble, so he won't get sent away, because certainly I am the next in line, or maybe I'll just go along to take care of him because I don't want him to be alone. So that's the genesis of one of my Untalkaboutables. Ironically, I'm totally comfortable talking about disabilities and different abilities as well. I hope you gained something from this. And because our Untalkaboutables are so deep, nothing may come up at first. My request of you is to simply open your heart, allow it to simmer, allow it to steep, and know that I am a safe place to talk about these things. And perhaps you might want to come to one of my upcoming 5 for 5 brain dump series, or come to some other program that I'm offering. So if you follow me here, if you subscribe before you go, you can be aware of what's going on, and you can always at any time reach out to me, because I know the freedom that comes from finally talking about those things that we were thought we weren't supposed to talk about. So I'm Julie Jordan Scott, the Creative Life Midwife. Thrilled and honored that you watched my video today. Let's begin to write and create around those subjects that we may have been afraid to talk about. And let's see what happens next. Because the world is waiting for your words. I would love nothing more than to help you get those words on the page.